Well, hey, good day to you. This is Todd. I am a regular Jude walking in the Word. We are going through the book of Numbers right now, and we are starting chapter 3 today. This is actually episode 5 of chapter 3. Some of these episodes we're doing right at the beginning of Numbers are longer because we're covering like the whole chapter in one episode because it all ties together. I can't really, a lot of times I break it up into smaller segments, but when we're dealing with the whole chapter and the whole chapter has the same theme, especially dealing with a census, then I need to like do the whole chapter. So these episodes could take up to 15 minutes long. I know, like, whole 15 minutes. But anyway, once we get out of these first chapters here, we should be getting back to the normal 5 to 10 minute episodes. But today I wanted to talk about redeeming the firstborn. You're going to hear in this chapter here of chapter 3, it's dealing with the Levites, and it's talking about a census that it's just for the Levites. And this is an odd census that the other census for the other people was men of fighting age. Well, this was a census of men that were more than a month old. Okay, so it included like all the men. And this was for the purpose really of redeeming the firstborn. So I'm going to explain this here before we start so that it makes sense as to why this is all happening. God called, and we read about it, in in Leviticus, how the firstborn of everything that was born to you needed to be redeemed. So, and be redeemed, I meant it was given to the Lord. Okay, so if I had a cow, the firstborn from that cow was given to the Lord. It was sacrificed to the Lord. Okay. If I had chickens, the firstborn of the chickens was given to the Lord, and so forth. So all my animals and even the first fruits of what I got of my grapes and so forth, that was given to the Lord. Okay, and it was sacrificed. I didn't see it ever again. Now, God, our God's not a God of human sacrifice. So what happened is children born to us. So if I had a child, that child was symbolically given to the Lord. Okay, and so what happened is the child wasn't sacrificed, and I never saw again, but it was a symbolic thing that the child needed to be redeemed. So then, in order for that to happen, I had to pay a price for that to happen, a monetary price. Okay, and then also the firstborn was redeemed for ministry, really. Okay, so not everyone in there was called to ministry, but the tribe of Levi was called for ministry. So the tribe of Levi took the place of your firstborn. So we're doing this. We're going through the census today to make sure there's enough men from Levi to account for all the guys. All the firstborn in all the rest of the 12 tribes. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense, and you're going to find out it was like really close. It was we'll get to that, how close it was, but then for the remainder, then a monetary amount was given for that, but it was really close as to how many Levites there were, and those were to take place of the rest of the tribes of Israel. So hopefully that makes sense. It's kind of a long explanation for us to understand this. And the reason this is also important is because it's talking about redeeming the firstborn and so forth. This all points to Jesus. Jesus was the firstborn, and he was the Savior, and so our Messiah. And so all this is pointing to Jesus. Okay, so let's read here Leviticus chapter 3. This is the account of the family of Aaron and Moses at the time of the Lord spoke to Moses at Mount Sinai. The names of the sons of Aaron and Nadab, the firstborn, and of the firstborn sons of Aaron were Nadab, firstborn, and Abihu, Eleazar, and Ishtamar. These were the names of Aaron's sons, the anointed priests who were ordained to serve as priests. Nadab and Abihu, however, died before the Lord when they made an offering unauthorized by fire before him in the desert of the Sinai. They had no sons, so Eleazar and Ithamar served as priests during the lifetime of their father Aaron. Okay, a brief history of the first priests there, and we've read about that already in our studies in the books of Moses before this. All right, so I'm not going to go back to that. Verse 5, the Lord said to Moses, bring the tribe of Levi and present them to Aaron the priest to assist him. They are to perform the duties for him and the whole community at the tent of the meeting by doing the work of the tabernacle. They are to take care of all the furnishings of the tent of meeting, fulfilling the obligations of the Israelites by doing the work of the tabernacle. Give the Levites to Aaron and his sons. They are the Israelites who are to be given wholly to him. Appoint Aaron and his sons to serve as priests. Anyone else who approaches the sanctuary is to be put to death. The Lord also said to Moses, I have taken the Levites from among the Israelites in place of the first male offspring of every Israelite woman. The Levites are mine, for all the firstborn are mine. When I struck down the firstborn in Egypt, I set apart for myself every firstborn in Israel. Whether human or animal, they are mine. I am the Lord. That paragraph that I just read, and I'll reread it here, is the whole reason we're doing the census and the whole reason God has all this going on. So in verse 11, it says, the Lord said to Moses, I have taken the Levites from among the Israelites in place of the firstborn offspring of every Israelite woman. Okay? The Levites are taken in place, okay, of all the other 12 tribes, of the firstborn of those 12 tribes. They're taken in place of that, and the Levites are to do the ministry, okay? They're not out fighting battles. They're doing the ministry. And so, yeah, let's read on verse 14 here. The Lord said to Moses in the desert of Sinai, count the Levites by the families and clans. Count every male a month old or more, okay? There you see it, a month old or more. So Moses counted them as he was commanded by the word of the Lord. These are the names of the sons of Levi, Gershon, Kohath, and Merari. These were the names of the Gershonite clans, Libnah and Shimei. The Kohathite clans, Amram, Izhar, Hebron, and Uzziel. The Merathite clans, Mahil and Mushi. These are the Levite clans according to their families. To Gershon belong the clans of the Lebanites, Shimeites, and these are the Gershonite clans. The number of all the males a month old or more who were counted were 7,500. The Gershonite clans were to camp on the west side behind the tabernacle. The leader of the families of the Gershonites was Elas, son of Lael. At the tent of meeting, the Gershonites were responsible for the care of the tabernacle and the tent, its coverings, and its curtain at the entrance to the tent of meeting. The curtains of the courtyard, the curtains at the entrance of the courtyard, surrounding the tabernacle and the altar and the ropes and everything related to it. Okay, this is going through the clans. I'm going through this really quick because the next chapter, chapter 4, it goes through it more slowly and tells the tasks of these different clans and what they're to do. You can pay attention here as I'm reading. It tells where these clans were supposed to camp, and they were basically camped around the tabernacle. And we remember we talked about in the past episodes how the rest of the tribes were scattered around, and it kind of made the shape of a cross. But the Levites were that inner circle kind of surrounding the tabernacle. Verse 27, to Korath belong the clans of the Amorites, Israelites, Hebronites, and Uzzielites. These were the Korite clans. The number of all the males a month old or more was 8,600. The Korites were responsible for the care of the sanctuary. The Korathite clans were to camp on the south side of the tabernacle. The leader of the family of the Korathite clans was Elzaphan, son of Izzol. These were responsible for the care of the ark, the table, and the lampstand, the altars, and the articles of the sanctuary used in ministering. the curtain, and everything related to the use. The chief leader of the Levites was Eleazar, son of Aaron the priest. He was appointed over those who were responsible for the care of the sanctuary. Verse 33, to the Berai belong the clans of the Malites, the Mishites, and these were the Merite clans. The number of all the males a month old or more were counted was 6,200. The leaders of the families of the Merite clans was Zeel, son of Eli. They were to camp on the north side of the tabernacle. The Merithites were appointed to take care of the frames of the tabernacle, its crossbars, its posts, its base, and all the equipment, everything related to their use, as well as the posts of the surrounding courtyard with the bases, tents, and pegs and ropes. Moses and Aaron and his sons were to camp to the east of the tabernacle, toward the sunrise, in front of the tent of meeting. They were responsible for the care of the sanctuary on behalf of the Israelites. Anyone else who approached the sanctuary was to be put to death. The total number of the Levites counted at the Lord's command by Moses and Aaron, according to their clans, including every male a month old or more, was 22,000. Okay, oh, man, exactly 22,000. Wow. So they counted up all these Levites a month old or more, and you have the number 22,000. Let's see how it compares to now all the firstborn that needed to be redeemed throughout all the 12 tribes. All right? The Lord said to Moses, count all the firstborn Israelite males who are a month old or more and make a list of their names. Take the Levites for me in place of the firstborn of the Israelites and all the livestock of the Levites, in place of all the firstborn of the Levite stock of the Israelites. I am the Lord. So Moses counted all the firstborn of the Israelites as the Lord commanded, and the total number of the firstborn males a month old or more, listed by name, was 22,273. Okay? So you have a difference of there's actually more men, more firstborn males from those other tribes, the other 12 tribes, than the men from Levi. So you had total men that needed to be redeemed was 22,273. The number of Levites was 22,000. So you had a need of really like 273 more Levites. Okay, let's see how God handled this. It's not that big a deal to God here. Verse 44, the Lord said to Moses, take the Levites in place of all the firstborn of Israel, and the livestock of the Levites in place of their livestock. The Levites are to be mine, I am the Lord. To redeem the 273 firstborn Israelites who exceed the number of the Levites, this is what you do. Collect 5 shekels for each one, according to the sanctuary shekel, which weighs 20 gerahs. Give them money for the redemption of the additional Israelites to Aaron and his sons. So Moses collected the redemption money from those who exceeded the number redeemed by the Levites. From the firstborn of the Israelites he collected silver weighing 1,365 shekels, according to the sanctuary shekel. Moses gave the redemption money to Aaron and his sons, as he was commanded by the word of the Lord. Okay, so I read all this. Hopefully you understand now why this was important, why they had to count the Levites, and it was to redeem the firstborn of every other male, okay? Because the firstborn was to be used for ministry, it was to be sacrificed. Well, the Levites were called to be the people that were in ministry. And so that's how they were redeemed, all right? And again, we do all this because everything points to Jesus. And so when we get to the story of Jesus later on in the Gospels, you're going to see Jesus was the firstborn, okay? And he was the firstborn, and that was part of the requirement of really being the Messiah was to be firstborn, okay? And so that's how this all ties together with that. All right. So, hey, thanks for joining us as we go through this. Again, this is a longer episode. Hopefully these next episodes won't be as long. But thanks for sticking with us through the book of Numbers. And I'm enjoying the study, and hopefully you are too. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow as we continue looking through the book of Numbers. Lord's blessing. I'll see you then.